for us to build some depth. You know, we don't need to necessarily see a lot of those guys who have started for us for 2 years. So really it's about building that depth now, getting those guys that maybe haven't had a lot of reps, getting them as many reps as we possibly can. And you know, sometimes, you know, it may look ugly until they, you know, get their bearings about them, and we get a chance to really coach them up. And this spring's going to be big about just film session and continuing to learn the game and increase our football IQ.
How many do you have out here?
I don't know. I'll have to look again. I think somewhere between 95 and 100.
Yeah. Talk about first day though. I mean, you were able to do some 7-on-7s and get some real look at some guys.
Yeah, 7-on-7 and some team. I thought all that stuff went really well. The tempo was good, and guys knew where they needed to be, and they flew around, and I was excited about you know, seeing some of those new guys and how fast they picked it up. And I thought they did. I thought they did really well. You know, still a long way to go, obviously, and you never really know until you get those shoulder pads on. And you know, a lot of guys look really good in the basketball outfits that we have on right now. But once we get the full pads on, you know, obviously some of those things, you know, start to play themselves out and separate themselves.
Who are some guys that stood out for you today, Coach?
You're welcome. Well, obviously seeing TJ Louder, wide receiver, coming in for us. You know, he made a couple nice catches and picked up the offense really well. I don't think he had any really mental bust. Nate McDowell, seeing him again out here. You know, last year he had a down season. He was injured and just really wasn't out on the field as much as we would have liked him to. And he really made an impression, you know, on me today. So that was a good thing. And I think our defensive line, you know, is looking really strong and really good. So all those guys, Billy Sturgis and Tevin Kirkland, and you know, so those were just a few of the guys that stood out to me. But I think a lot of them are doing what they should be doing and continuing to improve.
What are some of the things you want to get out of this spring for your team?
Just building depth. I think that's the key for me, is just building depth and getting guys that normally didn't get a lot of reps, ended up getting a lot of reps. So I think that was huge for us, and then just, you know, increasing the football IQ. If we can get the offensive line to understand, you know, what the running back is seeing, and if we can get the running back to see, you know, what the offensive line is seeing before it even happens, things like that. If we can get the DBs to expect and see one route and know that because of that route there's probably a whole concept that is coming at them, and if they understand that, then I think that's a lot better.
You guys have a lot of returning starters coming back. Talk about how much those guys, you want to see those guys step up in a leadership role and, you know, lead this team and help the younger guys through spring ball. Talk about how much that those older guys.
Well, and they need to, and they need to continue to step up and be leaders and continue to work on that. You know, some of these guys are reserved guys, and they're self-motivated guys, so they just do it on themselves. But they have to understand that sometimes other people on the team need a little pushing in a positive way, you know. And but right now we have, you know, a ton of guys that have played a lot of football for us. So that's a good thing. We don't just have one or two leaders, and you know, captains. I always tell our guys, everybody can lead somebody. So it's not just the captains that are leaders. You know, even if you're a freshman and you just happen to see another freshman that needs direction, you know, you could be a leader. You know, so just, you know, if we can get everybody to lead, and our motto is pull the rope, and that's get everybody on the same side of the tug-of-war rope. We're all going in the same direction, and not have people on opposite ends of the rope. And I think in doing that, we can get a lot of guys to step up in those leadership roles.
A lot of coaches say this is like Christmas morning for them. They get to see their new guys that are beginning to come up for a coming season. What do you think about some of the newcomers that you have?
Really good, really good. You know, once again, we'll see a lot of things once the pads come on. But for a first day, those newcomers blended right in with everybody else, and they didn't seem like they was out of place at all.